also alleged that there'd be urine on the sheet.
What really unfolded in the shocking trial of music mogul P. Diddy? Today, we dive deep into explosive testimonies, unexpected twists, and a courtroom drama that has everyone talking. Cassie Ventura, once Diddy's longtime partner, took the stand and dropped jaw-dropping details about their decade-long entanglement. She described wild, meticulously orchestrated freakoffs, intense encounters where Diddy ran the show like a director, with candles set just right and baby oil applied endlessly to achieve a glistening effect. But things took a dark turn when Cassie revealed the disturbing need for extra sheets due to being forced into these encounters during her period, leaving blood and allegedly even urine on the bedding. This testimony shook the courtroom, exposing a calculated lifestyle beneath the glamour. Yet the story didn't end there. A male escort who testified painted a different picture. Recruited under false pretenses, he described stepping into encounters where Diddy stayed discreetly in a corner, orchestrating every move, but not physically joining in the first time. Contradictions emerged, as the escort suggested Cassie had some agency in these encounters, complicating the prosecution's claims of coercion. The escort also witnessed a shocking instance of violence, Diddy allegedly physically assaulting Cassie, a moment so intense it left him unable to perform afterwards, adding a layer of raw reality to the case. The defense seized on these nuances, refusing to deny the relationship's toxicity, but challenging the portrayal of events as criminal trafficking. They argued these were consenting adults engaged in a dysfunctional lifestyle, not a sinister scheme. Central to their strategy are alleged videos showing Cassie willingly participating, which could dismantle key prosecution evidence if admitted, creating a tense struggle over how much the jury will see. Meanwhile, Diddy's arrest marked a steep fall from grace. Detained in a notorious jail nicknamed Hell on Earth, known for violence and squalor, bail efforts including offering multimillion-dollar mansions and jets failed, as the judge cited risk of evidence tampering. The public watches, as a once-celebrated mogul now faces serious consequences. Adding fuel to the fire, former associates, such as bodyguard Gene Deal, revealed unsettling initiation rituals involving disturbing acts performed under the cover of night. Producer Lil Rod's lawsuit detailed allegations of harassment, drugging, and threats, revealing trauma behind the scenes of the music empire. The industry's dark corners are being illuminated like never before. Even famed musician Usher recounted his bewildering youth living with Diddy, witnessing wild scenes and late-night debauchery far beyond a typical childhood. His candid reflections underline the broader impact of such environments on young artists trying to navigate fame and survival. As testimonies unfold and new evidence surfaces, the trial is shaping into a saga that goes beyond one man, touching on abuse of power, exploitation, and the harsh realities lurking behind the glitz. This high-stakes courtroom drama is far from over. The echoes of these revelations will ripple through the entertainment world, leaving us all to wonder, what will justice look like in the end? Cassie's explosive testimony. Cassie Ventura took the stand and immediately shook the courtroom with her explosive testimony, revealing disturbing details about her decade-long situationship with P. Diddy. She described their relationship as one marked by control and manipulation, painting a vivid picture of a young artist trying to make it in the industry, while being overshadowed by a powerful mogul nearly 2 decades her senior. From the very start, Cassie recounted how she wasn't even feeling the kiss on her 21st birthday, a moment that should have been special but instead left her confused and emotional. As her story unfolded, she detailed the wildly notorious encounters known as freakoffs, which were far from spontaneous hookups. According to her, these events were meticulously planned and directed by Diddy, almost as if he was shooting a music video. She talked about the careful setup, including specific candles chosen for the right scent and ambience, and an obsessive use of baby oil to create a glistening, shiny look, reminiscent of the flashy suits he once wore. One of the most shocking parts of Cass's testimony was about the need for extra sheets during these encounters, which she explained was because she was forced to participate during her period, leaving blood stains on the linens. She was clear that she didn't want to engage like that, but alleged Diddy ignored her discomfort. Furthermore, she revealed that urine was sometimes found on the sheets, a detail that has become one of the most talked about aspects of the case. Cassie's calm and composed demeanor throughout her testimony added to her credibility, making each revelation hit even harder as she simply stated facts without excessive emotion. Her brave testimony not only exposed the dark underbelly of their relationship, but also set the tone for what has become a deeply intense and controversial legal battle. The male escort's contradictory testimony. On day 2, a male escort took the stand, delivering a testimony that stunned everyone in the courtroom. He painted a picture that was starkly different from what the prosecution had been pushing so far, shaking the entire narrative. According to him, he was approached by his boss with a story about a bachelorette party gig, only to find out it was a front for something far more intense. When he arrived, he was greeted by Cassie, dressed in red lingerie, wearing a wig and dark glasses, completely changing the mood from what he had expected. A simple $200 gig quickly turned into a $4,000 arrangement, and things took on an entirely different vibe. Despite the wild setup, the escort described Diddy as mostly low-key, sitting in the corner with a bandana covering his face, avoiding the spotlight except for giving occasional directions. What made his testimony even more impactful was his description of consent dynamics, claiming Cassie assured him Diddy would not physically join in but might direct what happened. This revelation directly challenged the prosecution's assertion of coercion, suggesting that at least some level of agreement was involved. The escort also revealed moments of vulnerability, including a disturbing instance when Diddy grew violent towards Cassie, an incident so severe it left the escort unable to continue sexually afterward. These conflicting details complicate the straightforward view of control and victimization, adding layers of ambiguity to the case. Moreover, the escort spoke candidly about the lavish lifestyle he found himself drawn into, even appearing multiple times without guaranteed payment simply because he enjoyed the environment. This aspect introduces a complex tension between exploitation and voluntary participation, challenging the simple narrative the prosecution aims to establish. His testimony has forced everyone to reconsider what happened behind closed doors, laying bare a world where power, control, and consent intersect in complicated and deeply unsettling ways. Allegations of abuse and violence. The male escort testified about an incident of physical violence involving Cassie and Diddy, marking the first time he witnessed such behavior. He described waiting in the living room while Cassie and Diddy were in another room. When Cassie took too long to come back, the escort claimed Diddy came out and got physical with her. This alleged violent incident was so intense that it genuinely shook the escort and rendered him unable to perform sexually with the pair afterward, suggesting the severity of the situation. Importantly, this was purportedly the first time the escort witnessed any violence between the couple, potentially adding credibility to the abuse allegations presented by Cassie. The severity of Diddy's actions was further emphasized by descriptions of a vicious beating that left Cassie in a state where she could barely stand or walk. Such moments highlight the darker side of what was depicted as a complicated, toxic relationship full of control and power imbalance. Yet, the defense tries to reframe these incidents as isolated and separate from the charges of trafficking and coercion. Meanwhile, the prosecution relies heavily on these testimonies and a disturbing video showing Diddy's physical aggression being the most compelling evidence to support their case. The contrasting narratives along with the emotional gravity of the testimonies point to a profound struggle in court over the true nature of the relationship and the extent of cruelty involved. As the trial progresses, each detail about these violent episodes could sway the perception of the jury, potentially determining the legal outcomes for Diddy. The weight of these allegations underscores the serious accusations Diddy faces and the broader implications about abuse and power dynamics within the entertainment industry. Defense strategy: challenging the prosecution's narrative. Diddy's defense team is not denying that he and Cassie had a toxic relationship or even that physical altercations occurred, but they are aggressively challenging the prosecution's framing of these incidents as part of a larger pattern of coercion, trafficking, and abuse. Instead of denying the facts, the defense focuses on dismantling the narrative by highlighting inconsistencies in witness testimonies and presenting the relationship as a dysfunctional, yet consensual lifestyle among adults. The strategy aims to blur the lines between coercion and consent, painting the encounters as mutual decisions rather than forced acts. A key part of their approach is to leverage contradictory statements and testimony, suggesting that what happened was consensual, even if deeply troubled. This includes emphasizing Cassie's alleged participation and agency during the so-called freakoffs, a move that attacks the prosecution's portrayal of her as completely powerless. The defense also pushes back hard against the most serious charges, such as sex trafficking and racketeering, arguing that while the relationship was flawed, it did not amount to criminal conspiracy. They portray Diddy and Cassie as swingers who occasionally brought and paid sex workers, which, though controversial, does not necessarily equate to trafficking or abuse under the law. In court, this strategy has manifested through aggressive cross-examinations that expose weaknesses and contradictions in the prosecution's evidence. By reframing the story as one of consenting adults navigating a complicated, albeit dysfunctional, lifestyle, the defense aims to cast reasonable doubt on the allegations. Ultimately, the defense strategy seeks not just to contest evidence, but to reshape the jury's perception, turning a criminal case into a sordid tale of complicated relationships. It remains to be seen how this narrative will hold up as more evidence and witness accounts come to light. The power of video evidence and legal battles. The defense claims the existence of videos actually showing Cassie willingly participating in the so-called freakoffs, which would directly contradict her testimony about being coerced. These videos have created a tense legal tug-of-war, with the prosecution fighting fiercely to limit what portions can be shown to the jury. The battle over this evidence is central, because it touches on the core question of consent, which is crucial to the charges Diddy faces. The prosecution argues these videos capture real, non-consensual acts, while the defense paints them as evidence of a consensual lifestyle, adding complexity to an already murky case. Furthermore, questions swirl around the authenticity and context of these videos, making the judge's role in determining what the jury sees even more critical. This fight over video evidence highlights how digital proof can make or break high-profile cases today. It's not just about what's shown, but also about the narrative crafted around it. Both sides are locking horns with aggressive legal moves, aiming to sway public opinion and jury perception through this visual material. As the courtroom drama unfolds, expect these videos and the debates around them to dominate headlines and impact the trial's trajectory in unexpected ways. Diddy's arrest and detainment in harsh conditions. The high-profile arrest of music mogul P. Diddy marked a dramatic turn in his storied career, escalating a legal battle already filled with explosive allegations. Arrested in a Manhattan hotel barely 24 hours after a $100 million judgment against him went viral, Diddy's detainment has now drawn intense public focus on the harsh realities of his situation. Despite his former life of luxury, traveling by private jet and living in mansions, Diddy now finds himself confined in one of the most notorious jail facilities in the world, ominously nicknamed Hell on Earth. This federal lockup is infamous for its violence and poor living conditions, including 2 murders, for S_eyesight attempts, and numerous stabbings and lockdowns in recent years. Several federal judges have reportedly refused to send more prisoners there, underscoring the extreme challenges of this environment. Inside, Diddy's accommodations are minimal: a half-inch mattress without a proper pillow, plastic chair, and limited space to move. These stark conditions sharply contrast his former status, highlighting the steep fall from grace this case represents. Despite the severity of these conditions, Diddy's legal team has fought vigorously for bail. They have offered multimillion-dollar assets, including a $48 million mansion in Miami Beach and private jets, as surety for his release. Additionally, they proposed restricting female visitors to only immediate family, emphasizing the perceived risks involved. However, the judge denied bail, citing concerns that if released, Diddy might tamper with evidence or intimidate witnesses. Prosecutors reinforced this point by highlighting attempts allegedly made by his employees to silence witnesses and hotel staff concerning an assault 8 years prior. Adding to the tension, bags of pink powder, suspected to be narcotics, were found in his hotel room during the arrest, further complicating his legal troubles. Presenting a calm and humble demeanor in court, Diddy pleaded not guilty to all charges and asserted his innocence, vowing to fight the case to the end. Yet, the severity of his current detainment serves as a sobering reminder of the consequences he faces. This saga continues to unfold, with each development casting long shadows over a life once marked by glamour and success. Revelations from former associates and lawsuits. Former bodyguard Gene Deal revealed disturbing initiation rituals within Diddy's inner circle involving shocking behaviors. On the last day of the ritual, after the full moon had been sighted and the seasons changed, participants paid homage to certain sacrifices and idols. On the third day, men would drink, party, be merry, and the men would have with each other. Deal did not hold back any information, spilling all the beans about the ritual process Sean Diddy Combs indulges in. He described these nights as terrifying, shocking, and diabolical. This revelation cast a dark shadow over the glamorous image many held of Diddy. Meanwhile, producer Lil Rod stepped forward with a 73-page lawsuit filed in February 2024, accusing Diddy of sexual harassment, drugging, and threats during his stay at the rapper's house. Lil Rod alleged he was forced to be with workers, highlighting the terrifying control Diddy allegedly exercised. He also claimed he was never paid for producing 9 songs on Diddy's Grammy-nominated album, leaving him broke and blackballed. The lawsuit implied a culture of exploitation spanning years, deeply rooted within Diddy's entourage. Adding to the mounting allegations, Daphne Joy, former girlfriend of 50 Cent and mother of his child, was identified as one of the alleged workers, expanding the scope of the accusations. The lawsuit also detailed trafficking parties hosted by Diddy involving underage women and illegal drugs, with insinuations of record label executives turning a blind eye due to financial gains. These shocking claims extend beyond individuals, suggesting a widespread web of complicity. The public and industry insiders alike are grappling with the gravity of these accusations and the disturbing insight they offer into one of music's most powerful empires. Celebrity accounts and industry secrets. Musician Usher shared unsettling memories of his youth living with Diddy for a year starting at age 13, revealing a wild and mysterious lifestyle rife with late-night parties and adult situations. He described arriving at Diddy's place and encountering scenes where girls were everywhere, with people doing things behind closed doors that a young teen couldn't fully understand. Usher recalled famous artists like Biggie Smalls, Lil Kim, Craig Mack, Faith Evans, and Mary J. Blige frequently hanging around, highlighting the high-profile nature of the environment. When asked if he stayed up late partying with Diddy and his entourage, he said he could and even did stay up longer than most. These candid reflections expose the complex pressures and realities young artists face in the industry. In a later interview, Usher explained that Diddy introduced him to a different style of sex, noting how the music business was so hot, with women constantly around, underscoring the confusing scope of experiences he was exposed to at a formative age. Beyond Usher, disturbing allegations from former bodyguard Gene Deal exposed secret initiation rituals inside Diddy's inner circle, involving midnight ceremonies with alarming activities. These unsettling accounts provide chilling insights into an industry that often masks darkness behind fame and luxury. Amid all this, lawsuits from artists and associates further unravel secrets, showing stories of exploitation, harassment, and fear of retaliation. Together, these celebrity accounts and insider revelations paint a sobering picture, reminding us that behind the spotlight and success, the industry harbors shadows that are only now being exposed. As testimonies unfold and new evidence surfaces, the trial is shaping into a saga that goes beyond one man, touching on abuse of power, exploitation, and the harsh realities lurking behind the glitz. This high-stakes courtroom drama is far from over. The echoes of these revelations will ripple through the entertainment world, leading us all to wonder, what will justice look like in the end? Despite the defense's attempts to paint the relationship as consensual and dysfunctional, the disturbing details shared by multiple witnesses cannot be easily dismissed. The explicit nature of the allegations, the contradicting testimonies, and the shocking video evidence all contribute to a complex, murky narrative that the jury must untangle. With Diddy detained in a notorious jail, denied bail due to the risk of witness tampering, the stakes have never been higher. Meanwhile, the music industry watches closely, as the once powerful mogul fights to reclaim his freedom and reputation. Whether the case ends in a dramatic conviction or a split verdict, its impact on those involved and the wider cultural conversation is undeniable. This trial is not just about one individual. It reflects on broader issues of power, accountability, and the consequences of fame unchecked. As we follow this story, it's important to remember the voices of the survivors and the complexities of the legal process. The truth may be complicated, but the pursuit of justice remains crucial, no matter how challenging the path. Stay tuned as this story continues to unfold, raising vital questions about celebrity, responsibility, and the search for justice in a world where the powerful are often shielded from consequences.